Hello fellow GH fans, and welcome back to the channel. Today is a fantastic day to dive deep into the latest drama unfolding in Port Charles. Grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and let's get right to it because we have a lot of ground to cover. I cannot believe they just did that. I am literally sitting here shaking at my keyboard right now. My jaw is completely on the floor, and I honestly do not think I am going to recover from this episode anytime soon. Portia? The baby? Curtis? I mean, we all knew this felony assault trial was going to be an absolute disaster. From the second ADA, Justine Turner decided to move forward with the charges, but I don't think anyone in the fandom was prepared for the absolute emotional bloodbath we just witnessed on our screens. I am typing this up late at night because I physically cannot sleep. I need to vent, and I desperately need to know if you guys are screaming at your televisions the same way I am. Let's just start with Curtis Ashford, because I have opinions. I have been watching this show religiously since 2015, and I have never, ever seen a character assassination quite like what the writers have done to this man over the last few months. Think about it. Curtis used to be the voice of reason. He was the cool, calm, collected private investigator who always had everyone's back. But lately, he has been walking around Port Charles acting like he is the ultimate victim of the universe. He punched Isaiah Gannon. He completely destroyed the man's hand. He ruined Isaiah's surgical career and caused him to miss a life-saving surgery for Derek. And yet, Curtis has been sitting there with this arrogant, smug look on his face, refusing to take an ounce of responsibility. He even had the nerve to tell Trina that Isaiah wanted a fight, so he gave him one. Are you kidding me? It has been so infuriating to watch him dodge accountability. But tonight the bill finally came due, and it cost him literally everything. Okay, back to the point. The courtroom scenes. Can we talk about the sheer, suffocating tension in that room? The set design, the lighting, the way the director chose to frame those tight close-ups on everyone's faces. It all felt so incredibly claustrophobic. You could just feel that something terrible was going to happen. And then ADA Justine Turner called Portia to the witness stand. Justine is an absolute shark. We know she has her own messy secrets, like that secret affair with Sonny Corinthos, but in that courtroom, she is a lethal weapon. And she had Portia right where she wanted her. Portia, who is visibly pregnant, stressed out of her mind, and literally holding the weight of this entire massive feud on her shoulders. Justine did not hold back for a single second. I know she is just doing her job as the prosecutor, but man, she was absolutely relentless. She was hammering Portia with rapid-fire questions, trying to force her to admit under oath that Curtis is a violent, impulsive man who attacks people without provocation. Did he strike him with intent? Did he show any remorse? And Portia is sitting there, sweating, shaking, trying so desperately to defend a husband she knows deep down is completely in the wrong. Because that's what Portia does, right? She fixes things. She covers for the people she loves. She has been trying to hold this family together with duct tape and sheer willpower. But you could see the exact moment her mind and her body just snapped under the immense pressure. I am sorry, but Brooke Kerr deserves an Emmy for this episode. Give her the trophy right now. The way she portrayed that rising panic attack was almost too real to watch. The hyperventilating, the frantic, terrified look she kept shooting toward Curtis at the defense table, the way her knuckles turned white as she gripped the edge of the wooden witness stand. And then, she collapsed. She just crumpled, right there in the middle of the courtroom. The collective gasp from the gallery. I literally screamed at my screen. It wasn't a graceful soap opera faint. It was a terrifying, sudden drop that made your heart stop beating. And Curtis. Oh my God, Curtis. Seeing him completely lose his mind, screaming in absolute despair as he watched his pregnant wife go down. It was chilling. He tried to rush the stand, fighting against the bailiffs who had to physically hold him back. It was pure chaos. For a second, just a brief, fleeting second, I actually felt a pang of sympathy for him. Wait, no I didn't. I take that back. He brought every single bit of this trauma on himself and his family. But seeing the absolute terror in his eyes as the paramedics rushed into the courtroom and wheeled Portia out on a stretcher, that was powerful television. The transition from the arrogant, untouchable Curtis Ashford who refused to take a plea deal to a broken, screaming mess of a husband was incredibly jarring. And we absolutely have to talk about Isaiah. He was sitting right there in the gallery, looking so smug and vindicated at the start of the trial. He wanted this vengeance. He wanted Curtis to pay for ruining his hand. And honestly, who could blame him? But when Portia went down, you saw the blood completely drain from his face. The sudden, horrifying realization that he had pushed this lawsuit way too far hit him like a freight train. He is a doctor, for crying out loud. His instinct is to heal, but his desire for revenge caused irreparable harm. He wanted justice for his career, but he never, ever wanted Portia or an innocent unborn baby to get caught in the crossfire. Now he is sitting there drowning in his own guilt, and honestly, good. He needed a massive reality check, just as much as Curtis did. Vengeance always comes with a heavy price in Port Charles. Then we get to General Hospital. The waiting room scenes were pure agony. The ticking clock, the deafening silence, the pacing back and forth, and then the doctor finally comes out. We all knew what was coming. The foreshadowing has been heavy for weeks. But hearing the words actually spoken out loud, the miscarriage, they lost the baby. I am utterly devastated. I mean, why does General Hospital always do this to us? Remember when they did this with Sam McCall back in the day? Or Carly and Sonny? It is like no one is ever allowed to have a happy, healthy pregnancy on this show. It is always trauma, trauma, and more trauma. But this one hits so much harder because it was entirely preventable. This is the exact moment Curtis finally broke. The news of the miscarriage just hollowed him out completely. You could see the exact second his massive ego shattered into a million irreparable pieces on that hospital floor. The arrogance is gone. The pride is gone. He went from a proud, defiant man to a completely empty shell. And the remorse? It is eating him alive, right in front of our eyes. He finally realizes that his stubbornness, his refusal to just apologize to Isaiah, his desperate need to be right about the hit and run, it cost him his child. It is a devastating pill to swallow, and frankly, I do not know how his character ever comes back from a tragedy of this magnitude. But the absolute most chilling, unforgettable moment of the entire episode was when Portia finally woke up. Curtis is sitting by her hospital bed, tears streaming down his face, holding her hand, probably expecting her to cry with him, to lean on him in their shared grief. But she doesn't. She pulls her hand away like his touch burns her skin. And the look she gave him? Chills. Literal chills down my spine. It wasn't just sadness or grief in her eyes. It was pure, unadulterated hatred. She looks at him like he is an absolute monster. And in her eyes, right now, he is. She blames him entirely for the loss of their baby. And am I the only one who completely agrees with her? If Curtis hadn't punched Isaiah over a stupid, baseless accusation about being the driver who fled the scene, if Curtis had just taken a plea deal, instead of dragging this entire circus to a public trial, if Curtis had just put his pregnant wife's peace of mind and health above his own massive, fragile ego, they would still have their baby. Portia knows this. Curtis knows this. The entire audience knows this. And then she drops the absolute bomb. She tells him to get out. She wants a separation. Immediately. Right there from her hospital bed, mere minutes after waking up to the worst news of her life. She didn't even hesitate. She is completely and utterly done with him. And honestly, good for her. I am so tired of the women on this soap standing by men who constantly put them through the absolute ringer. Portia has been through enough. Between the Trina paternity secret fallout, Curtis's paralysis storyline, his constant pushing her away, and now this horrific tragedy, she is exhausted. She needs to cut the dead weight, and Curtis is exactly that right now. Now I am just sitting here wondering how Trina is going to react to all of this fallout. Trina has been trying so hard to support her mom, while also dealing with her own massive stress over her art showcase, and Kai hovering over her like an overprotective hawk. When Trina finds out that Curtis's selfish, violent actions directly led to her mother collapsing and losing the baby, oh, it is going to be explosive. Trina is going to unleash absolute hell on Curtis, and I'm going to be sitting here with my popcorn watching every single second of it. Curtis is about to lose his daughter right after losing his wife. Where do they even go from here? Curtis is facing a broken marriage, the loss of his unborn child, the hatred of his wife, and he still has this felony trial hanging over his head. ADA Justine Turner isn't just going to drop the felony assault and battery charges because of a personal tragedy. If anything, this courtroom disaster proves exactly how destructive Curtis's actions have been to everyone around him. Is Alexis Davis going to be able to save him in court? Does he even want to be saved at this point? He looks like a man who wants to go to Steinmauer just to punish himself for what he has done. And what about Brooklyn Quartermain? Let's not forget that she is the actual driver from the hit and run. Michael Corinthos already figured it out and is planning to use it to blow up her marriage with Chase. If Brooklyn finds out that her silence and her massive cover-up directly led to Curtis falsely accusing Isaiah, which led to the fight, which led to the trial, which led to Portia's miscarriage, the guilt is going to absolutely destroy her. The ripple effects of this one storyline are touching almost every single character on the canvas right now, and it is brilliant, stressful soap opera writing. I know some people are absolutely loving this dark, gritty turn for the Ashford family, but personally, I am just heartbroken for Portia. I wanted them to be happy. But at the same time, this is exactly the kind of high-stakes, deeply emotional drama that keeps me glued to the screen year after year. The acting tonight was top tier, the writing was brutal but wildly effective, and the fallout is going to fuel storylines for months to come. I just needed to get all of this out of my system, because my mind is racing at a million miles an hour. Let me know in the comments if you guys are as wrecked by this episode as I am, because I am definitely going to need a massive support group to get through the rest of this week.